Get ready to dive into a world where empires stand on the brink of war and terrible monsters tear at the fragile borderlands of men. The Adventurer-Conqueror King System Imperial Imprint, or as we like to call it, Acts 2, is now live on Kickstarter. Acts 2 is the new edition of the acclaimed best-selling fantasy role-playing game. You'll find everything you need to enjoy epic fantasy campaigns with a sweeping scope. Whether you want to crawl through dungeons, experiment with alchemy, crossbreed monsters, run a merchant emporium, raise an undead legion, or even conquer an empire, Acts 2 supports your playstyle. Acts 2 integrates experience point mechanics, making campaign activities a seamless part of the core gameplay loop. Your character levels up in new and exciting ways each time you play, adding massive replayability to each of your adventures. Acts 2 offers 18 character classes, 378 spells, new combat mechanics, and so much more. Support Acts 2 on Kickstarter today. Knocked Prone is a clean, chaotic, and deep podcast for D&D nerds. Find more ways to support our podcast in the episode description. Last time on Knocked Prone, the crystal pillars around the room light up with every consonant of Vecna's raspy ritual voice. Vecna's ritual has reached halfway completed. The room's edges start to fracture as if nature itself is rending reality apart. The cracks snake and intertwine until, with a deafening roar, the chamber plunges into an abyssal descent.
We have to follow them down there.
You look around and notice that you are in a cavern in the Underdark, an ancient and massive arcane chamber deep beneath the Earth's center. The chamber is adorned with intricate rune carvings on the walls, similar to the ones that you saw on the runic pillars. Vecna's ritual that she is doing isn't just to destroy these gods of the Ten. She is trying to summon her deity, which she used to worship in her clerical order, Ao, the Overgod.
Whether you're a halfling, a giant, or somewhere in between, round the table with your friends, playing Dungeons and Dragons. And if life ever knocks you down, your dice will surely turn around. Roll your stats, it's time to quest. Let's put your characters to the test.
All right, so we last left off with Selene's turn. You guys are at the bottom of this cavern with Vecna in the center in her crystal dome, and the crystal dome has these squid-like tentacles that are lashing out, made entirely up of purple goop. We are starting at the top of the round, the status report. So Grom and Zag, who are you guys doing a status report with?
So yeah, I'll check in with the Veil's Grint.
Okay, go ahead and roll a d20, Grom. You have to beat a natural 1.
Oh, good luck.
Good luck.
13.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll me 2 d100s.
69.
Nice.
Yeah. And 34.
103 points of damage to the Elder Brain.
Cassidy, how goes the fight with the Elder Brain?
Oh, things are so good right now. Gosh, don't leave your brain unattended. Put it behind some rocks at least. Gosh, dang it, Elder Brain.
That's always been my motto.
I know, yeah. I said it's on a plaque at my house. I have it crocheted on every pillow. Don't leave your brain out, dummy. And we've dealt over half of the damage to the Elder Brain. It looks like they are not doing well. The Illithid are kind of on the defensive right now.
Good to hear. Cassidy and her troops are doing all right.
Zag, go ahead and check in on someone. Who are you checking in on?
Avalar.
Go ahead and beat a 19 for me.
Dude, so with advantage,
Okay.
You'll never believe it. Listen,
It's a natural 1?
it's a natural 1.
Really? With
Yes,
two
I rolled
natural
2
ones?
nat 1s in a row.
Hey, go ahead and roll me 2 d100s.
Are you trying to kill my mom?
No. 122.
22. So you phone in Dale. What are you saying?
Dale, how's it going?
Oh my gosh!
It's the War 1.
Zach! He got a hold of our espresso machines!
No!
I have so many espresso beans in my eye right now! He's pouring it back! He's pouring it back! They have dealt...
Stay strong!
They've been dealt 250 of 300 hit points.
Ooh.
Most of our troops are dead! I don't know what to do! Help!
Alec, if you kill my mother.
Sacrifice the Selene.
You can't do that to me again!
Dale, toughen up!
Okay.
You can do this.
I guess I am pretty awake.
You're woke as hell. Get him.
All right, Dad. I'm woke now. All right, and Dale is going to fight back with woke power.
Oh, gosh.
And with that, that is the end of the status report turn. It is going to be Vecna's turn.
Love that for us.
That's right.
You guys would have to navigate around difficult terrain like we talked about last time, but since Efimia is being gracefully held by Selene and Grom and Zag are under the pixie dust effects of Peter Pan and are able to fly, Vecna is going to lash out because she still is hurt about being left on red, is going to attack Zag. So, Zag, go ahead and make me a dexterity saving throw.
You should have gone on that date with her.
Is it a natural one?
Dude, I'm gonna need you to.
Is that a third?
How do you
Change dice, dude.
This is a new set. Himbo's luck.
Could you have used that before?
Probably.
Yeah, but just Avalon.
Yeah, it was just.
Wow.
I'm gonna lead him into the ground anyway. 14.
A 14, so that is still going to fail, but you won't double fail with a natural 1.
Sweet.
So, you will take 41 points of necrotic damage as this purple goop is going to seep into your skin, into your wounds, and you feel like you have these blistering infections that are festering in these wounds that have opened because of the battle that you have taken with the paper golems and their paper cuts and such. And you feel as Vecna's curse wraps around you, and that is the end of Vecna's turn. Zag, you are up.
Do I feel like any debilitating effects remain, or is it just I'm damaged?
You're just damaged. It's just necrotic energy kind of making you feel sick.
Okay. Can you give me a general layout of what we see now that we've flown down?
Yes, so you are in a large cavern. You can't see the ends of it, but it goes, you can at least see 60-foot radius out from each direction from Vecna's crystal in the middle that is resonating with this purple and yellow refracting light from the purple goop and the yellow rune crystal. All along the ground are just jagged stalagmites that look like would make the ground jagged, difficult terrain, but since you guys are flying, you won't have to deal with that.
What's our proximity to Vecna?
You're about 40 feet away from Vecna. You have a 60-foot flying speed, though.
Okay, and there's one pillar left?
So the pillars are no longer around. It looks like there are just symbols on the cavern above you that you can see that are just glowing. Only one is glowing, but the others seem to still have energy behind them, like magical energy kind of radiating.
Like they're
inside
not
them.
destroyed?
They're not destroyed.
Inactive?
There's only one that you can see that is completely destroyed, and that is the one that Efimia disabled by killing the paper golem.
Zag is going to fly about 10 feet towards Vecna, and then while still just hovering in the air like a super powerful just being.
Yeah, your eyes are just
like
glowing white.
Glowing
Yeah.
white. Hair
Super Saiyan-esque,
Super
right?
Saiyan. That's exactly what I was saying. It's blonde now. It's
Really long because you spent 7 years in prison.
yeah. My beard hair just immediately like braids itself. I just
Yeah.
look super like Thor
A
almost.
thick dwarven brain.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, fly 10 feet closer to Vecna, and then I'm going to cast Summon Celestial right next to Vecna.
Inside of the...
Inside of the sphere upcasted to 6th level.
Go ahead
Ooh.
and roll me an Arcana check.
14, and then I'm going to use my Emboldening Bond and add an additional D4, because that should still be active. That's a 2, so 16.
Meet speed.
Yes! Finally!
So you were able to cast this celestial spirit inside of this dome.
You'll see as Zag's levitating in the air, Baby Shadow Thorn will just scoot and run underneath the barrier next to Vecna. Zag's hands will drop down and raise up, and Thorn will take a celestial form of himself, just glowing light emanating in all directions, and you'll see just Baby Shadow Thorn become a corporeal actual figure.
Vecna smirks as Thorn enters into the radius of the dome, and she says, "Good.
Another god for me to sacrifice."
Concentration is dropped on Fly, so both Zag and Grom will go down to the ground.
Ooh, rip. After that will be your Celestial's turn. Go ahead and do Thorn's turn.
Okay, so Thorn is working as the defender, celestial spirit, and he will take 3 attacks against Vecna with that upcast.
That's pretty
with
nice.
the 6th level upcast? Holy cow.
Yes.
That's awesome.
19 to hit, 23 to hit, 17 to hit.
2 of those will hit.
2 of those will hit. Okay, each one will be 1d10 plus 3 of radiant damage.
Wonderful.
15 points of radiant damage. Since I didn't specify that Thorn had any form of weapon, he's going to open hand smack and then backhand smack.
Okay.
Bam, bam, with both hit, with each hit.
Yeah, so you just see this searing backhand of radiant light hit into Vecna. Everyone outside of the dome, so I guess that would be everyone. At the table. Roll me a perception check.
19.
19?
25.
Oh my gosh.
8.
14.
14. All right. Grom and Zag, as you fall to the ground from your flight, you hit your hands and knees. A tinge of like shock goes through your body as you hit the ground and are surrounded by all these stalagmites. And as you look up towards Vecna and to see what Thorn is doing, you see past the dome of Vecna the symbol of one of the gods of the 10 that pings. As Thorn deals this damage to Vecna, it seems that it was absorbed. Vecna's chaos is kind of growing. You see that radiant damage does not seem to do as much as you would have hoped to the god Vecna. She is resistant. But with that, is that the end of Thorn's turn?
Yes.
Efimia, you are up. You see, as you look around the battlefield, one of the symbols of the gods of the 10 still is glowing in an empowering way to Vecna. All the other 8 symbols have gone out, so there's 1 of 8 pillars that are still empowering the ritual. You see as the ritual glows in that single stone, and the ritual will gain an additional 6 points, so it is now at 60 out of 100 to be fully empowered. And what would you like to do with your turn, Efimia?
How far am I from Vecna right now?
You are 40 feet away from Vecna. You are currently floating with Selene.
I think Efimia is going to use her bonus action first to coat her weapon in poison.
Okay.
From the poisoner's belt. So that will last 1 hour. And then Efimia is going to roll out of Selene's arms.
Okay.
In a very cool way.
Yeah, it looks like a yo-yo, like unfurling, and you do a super cool 720 spin, and you 3-point pose on the ground.
Full Avenger style. Just
Full
land
Avenger
on that
style.
ground.
Yeah, just a freaking crater forms, and you look up at Vecna, who is about 30 feet away from you. It is difficult terrain on the ground, which means you'll have half movement speed. Roll me a nature check to see if you can navigate around this difficult terrain.
Okay. Yeah, that wasn't a good one. That was an 11.
So with an 11, these pillars of stalagmites are just going to block your terrain. That it is going to reduce your movement speed to 15 feet.
Efimia is just going to stay where she is then.
Okay.
And just try to throw a javelin full speed over at Vecna.
Yeah, so it will hit the crystal dome.
That's a nat 1.
Oh.
I'm going to use an inspiration on that.
Smart.
Yeah, I ain't going to...
So many nat ones this combat.
What is
It's
happening?
crazy.
What did you do to curse our dice? 21?
A 21 will hit.
All right. First level Divine Smite. I'm going to roll that second attack. Emboldening Bond. I got a 2, so that was a 17.
17 does not hit. I'm sorry.
I tried. It's good.
Go ahead and roll the damage on that first attack. So you did a first level Divine Smite.
14 points of radiant damage.
You deal 7 points of radiant damage and 7 points of piercing damage. Vecna's shield has been dealt 19 points of damage.
Love that.
With that, is that the end of your turn, Efimia?
Yeah, I already used my bonus action, so we're
Wonderful.
rolling with it.
Grom, you are up.
Looking at her shield crystal
Yes.
and my experience mining these crystals before,
Yes.
does there seem to be a more efficient way to pierce this barrier? Like, does there seem like, would I know of any ways any weaknesses or anything like that with my experience, or does this seem to be just...
Go ahead and roll me a religion check with your stone proficiency added.
16.
Yes, so you recall while mining, it seemed that like bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage was kind of hard to hit against these runes, and eventually found that like loud claps of thunderous damage was the weakness of this rock. So if you were able to do thunder damage, it would deal double damage to this shield.
Stone is something that I know about, so I could actually speak intelligently about it.
This crystal is like the other ones, just bigger. If we're able to make it resonate at a fast enough frequency, it should shatter. If you have any sort of vibration spells or effects, it would prove immensely effective.
And then I'm going to run forward to the crystal. I have 40 feet of movement. I don't know how far away I am.
40 feet. Go ahead and roll me a nature check to see if you can navigate around the stalagmites on the ground.
25.
A 25,
Barely.
yes. You've been around rocks your whole life. You were able to agilely glance around these rocks like you were walking in a straight path, and your movement is unhindered.
Okay. And then I'm going to run forward, and I want to find the place that Efimia's javelin like stuck into the crystal.
Totally.
And I just want to hammer it like a hammer into, like hitting a nail into it.
Go ahead and roll an attack
Nice.
with advantage, because I
Okay.
love that.
That is beautiful.
20 to hit.
A 20 will definitely hit.
Critical. Natural
Crit?
18. Yep.
Yes, okay. So both of those will absolutely hit.
First one is going to be, it's 19 points of bludgeoning damage and 9 points of radiant damage. And then the second attack is going to be 16 points of bludgeoning damage and then 9 points of radiant damage for the second attack.
So 25 for the second attack.
For my bonus action, I am going to use my Cleric of War domain and use my bonus action for another attack.
Wonderful. No, you've dealt 67 of 100 HP to this shield so far.
Yeah.
You are very close.
Oh, crit.
Another crit.
Yeah, dude. All right.
Grom is carrying us right now.
I do know how to work with stone. 19 points of bludgeoning damage, 8 points of radiant reduced to 4.
You have dealt 90 of 100 points of damage to this crystal dome. Vecna's eyes dart back and forth, going from reassured at the beginning of your turn to terrified as she sees you wallop over and over again. She did not expect for your dwarven knowledge to come into play in fighting against these crystals. Literally, she sold the crystals to the dwarves, basically thinking that they would never be able to turn this knowledge against her, and you have done exactly that. What would you like to say to Vecna?
As she makes as I lock eyes with her, I just want to say, enough.
Roll me an intimidation check.
I mean, yeah, if you dealt that much damage
I
to
guess
her like
that's fair,
strongest
but-
shield, I'd be a little scared.
17.
A 17. She looks very intimidated through this rune. Like, you are dealing crazy amounts of damage to the mother rune crystal, one of the biggest sources of Vecna's power, and she definitely looks frightened of you. And with that, is that the end of your turn, Grom?
Yeah.
Celine, you are
Thanks for
up.
making me feel like a badass.
Okay, so I have one metagame question before I do my turn. Vecna's phylactery is
Yes.
also inside the crystal.
Yes, right next to Vecna.
And it's in the form of a book, right? The proximity and how important that is. That it has more power with proximity as well,
Yes.
right?
The reason
So-
that Vecna has her phylactery inside of this dome is because she would not be able to do a ritual of this power to try and summon AO without her phylactery being so close
Otherwise,
and vulnerable.
she would just have it hidden somewhere.
Exactly. She wouldn't have it this close unless she was confident that she could keep it safe.
Yeah. So my question is, do you think if I had the chance, I should target Vecna or I should target the phylactery?
I've already got my celestial hitting Vecna, not for a lot, but
Personally, I would say destroying the book, if we know that it's going to disrupt the ritual, would be good.
And hopefully not hard.
It could tick Vecna off, and like she may kill us, but even if she kills us, she doesn't get to ascend to full godhood and like have all that power and stuff like that. We
Yeah.
still accomplish our goal.
So I'm going to use my movement to move forward 30 feet right up to Vecna.
Wonderful.
And then I would like to use my bonus action Ghost Walk to become a ghost.
Incorporeal, right?
And I would like to use my 10 feet of movement speed that I have as a ghost to walk through the dome. Can I do that?
You absolutely can.
Okay, great. And then I would like to locate the phylactery if I can. Do I see the book?
Yes, as you were looking at it, it has this immense amount of necrotic energy emanating from it. It looks like blackened lightning bolts are striking this book over and over and over again.
And I would like to attempt to shred it with my ahlpike.
Okay.
I got 18.
An 18 will hit.
That's 8 points of damage. And then can I use my sneak attack on an inanimate object?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Your sneak attack no longer needs requirements to be met in order with your dragon boon from Granny D.
Right. 25 points of damage for the sneak attack.
25 points of damage. Okay, so your ahlpike starts to gash into the pages of Vecna's phylactery. You see as pages are ripped and torn from this phylactery. And make me a d20 check.
Okay, so I got a 3. Should I use my...
You have emboldening bond. I don't think you've used it, but that's not going to do it.
Should I use my last inspiration? You know what? I'm going to save it.
With a 3, you are able to destroy a large portion of this book. However, it is not fully destroyed. Go ahead and make me a religion check as you slash into this book.
That's a nat 1.
With a natural 1, that's all you glean, that you weren't able to destroy this book.
Okay.
With that, it will be up to the status report. Efimia, who are you checking in with?
Efimia is going to realize she probably should have done this about 2 turns ago and call up Orcus. Orcus, where are you?
Oh, Efimia, you said that the Ascended Corp tower was where Vecna was. I'm here at the top of the tower. Nothing's here.
Do you see a giant hole?
Yes, but
Go down the hole!
why would anyone willingly jump down a massive cavern in the ground?
Because we're all here, just drop down the hole!
Okay, can you see up the hole right now? Is that a possibility?
Efimia's just gonna kind of look upward and just see darkness with like a little circle of light somewhere at the beginning of kind of?
Alright, cool. Watch this.
And you see, watch this. You see as he double smacks his elbow, and then is going to do a flying dive down. You hear the whistle of a bomb being dropped as Orcus just elbow dives into the top of the ruins of the Ascended Court building, and you just hear as Orcus starts descending rapidly down this hole. He looks at you, Efimia, as he gets to the bottom and says,
You rang?
Orcus has now joined the battle.
And Efimia's just gonna look at him and go, about time!
You didn't tell me where she was. I was just confused.
If you saw a big hole, you should have dropped down the hole!
Is this a rule?
We have bigger problems.
Fine!
Wow, it feels really good to be on your guys' team.
I don't have a lot of friends where I come from, so this is really nice.
We should make bracelets.
It is Vecna's turn now. Vecna is so afraid. Vecna looks just absolutely terrified as Grom, you are absolutely battering her shield. She is going to lash out one of these purple goop tentacles at you, Grom.
Fair.
So, Grom, go ahead and make me a dexterity saving throw.
Hey, I'm actually decent at those. Natural 20.
A natural 20.
For 25.
I'm going to say that you're not even going to take half damage from this. You completely pass. Go ahead and deal me 1 weapon attack.
13.
13! Okay. With a 13.
As she whips out the tentacle at me, I dodge, and seeing that she's not backing down after telling her that it's enough, I'm just going to send the final attack. And I like to imagine that with each attack, the javelin has just gone further and further into the thing, and now it's just like fully inside.
You drive the spike all the way in to this runic crystal, and this huge crystal, this mother crystal that you've mined your entire life, Grom, shatters and and the curse of Vecna's rune crystal has been dispelled. The look of fear on Vecna's face goes from a look of fear to a look of dread. She looks like she might feel like she is lost. Her vile face seems to darken as her attacks all have seemed to, you've noticed, have become more desperate and devastating as she looks at her hands, and then her skeletal figure will contort with this insatiable hunger for power as she will reach out for the symbol around her neck of the Eye of Vecna, and she is going to clutch the secret stone around her neck, and an unnatural darkness will cloak her form. Her body will shift, contort, and expand as she rips the piece of jewelry from her neck and consumes the stone's energy in a single swallow. You watch as this stone shines with purple necrotic energy as it slides down Vecna's gullet. Her very essence absorbs the amulet's forbidden power, and her silhouette morphs into something far more sinister. The chamber quakes as Vecna's newfound power is realized. A terrible force grips you, lifting you from the very ground, thrusting you into the air within Vecna's new gravitational pull. The world around you distorts as reality itself seems to bend at her very will. The heavens churn with a darkness, and below the earth trembles with dread as you are shunted out of this enormous cavern that you've been in, above to the ground, where the Ascended Corp Tower once stood. And as you guys make it to the top of the ground and Vecna continues to rise out of the earth, go ahead and everyone make me a perception check.
That's a 5. I'm doing great,
17.
guys.
That's a 3.
15. Grom and Zag, you see, teeming with bell chimes and whistles, Kobo's Moto Bodo of Song, Story, and Salutation glides through the air and is propelled by a heap of broomsticks. It seems that Kobo was able to glean from Litzy.
Yes!
Kobo looks at you, Grom and Zag, as you have successfully succeeded on your perception checks, and says,
Violence is not the answer, but this girl's crazy and needs to go down. Hop on!
and he invites Grom and Zag onto Kobo's Moto Bodo of Song, Story, and Salutation. And Efimia, Orcus snatches you up in his arms and is going to quickly start to ascend towards Vecna's position.
I practice fly dancing. This works out.
Yeah.
As you board Kobo's Moto Bodo of Song, Story, and Salutation, and as Efimia, you are carried up by Orcus. Selene, you are flying towards Vecna. You look onward towards Vecna's form. This energy, as it reaches her stomach, it bursts with light, and she grows until she is standing a staggering 30 feet in height. A grotesque amalgamation of skeletal remains and rotting flesh. Tattered cursed armor dangles from her elongated limbs, adorned with finger-like blades that ooze with a foul, purple ichor. Her hollow eye sockets glow with malevolent golden light of the mother rune crystal's remains. Her fleshless visage contorts into a nightmarish grin, revealing jagged obsidian teeth that hunger for the souls of the remaining gods. Vecna's new corrupted form opens their nightmarish mouth and starts to projectile spew purple goop upon the world below in boatloads of gallons by the ton, completely covering the city in this corrupting liquid. Vecna, now transformed, towers above, her form shrouded in a swirling malevolent energy. Vecna, once a pantsuit-wearing lich, is now a gigantic vortex of unfathomable power. Her inky aura blots out the heavens, casting a pall of dread upon the lands below. Coming from within the horrible creature, you hear a chant. Vecna's distorted, haunting voice resonates through the very marrow of your bones. Vecna continues her dreadful ritual. Her dark tendrils reach out into the heavens as if willing to tear this existence and whatever comes after into oblivion. And I believe that is where we are going to end our session for the night. My name is Cade, the host and dungeon master of this Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition adventure, and I'm joined here by the players to my left.
Alec playing Zag.
Mason playing Grom.
Marissa playing Efimia.
And Brooklyn playing Selene.
Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. You've done so much by getting this far. You've done a great amount of supporting already. But if you want to support a little bit more, and if you have the means to, you can go on over to patreon.com/knocked. If you don't have the means to support our podcast, support us to a friend or drop us a review on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It will help us out so much. Thank you. We hope that you remember when life knocks you flat on your back, all you got to do is keep rolling, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.